without further ado, Your Excellency, the Minister of Nigeria, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. And apologies for coming in late. I think the last session was one that I was actually looking forward to being part of. And the reason for that is I oversee the communications and digital economy sector in Nigeria. For those who don't know Nigeria, this is probably the largest economy in Africa, with over 230 million people. In terms of landmass, Nigeria is about 923,000 square kilometers of land. So it's a significant country, not just in terms of the number of people there. But it's not just about numbers. I think this is something that is important to take into consideration. Nigeria is an extremely youthful nation. Nearly 70% of the people in this country are under the age of 30. All right? And the average age in Nigeria is actually 16.9, so it's extremely youthful. And the most demanding part of the story for us in government is actually that this is a country that is adding 5 million new people every year. So our population is projected to be 500 million by 2050. So it's a significant nation, but also a significant challenge for leaders as well. And for this, we have a president that has decided that he is going to do something significant in the country. And the best way we describe his goal and the reforms that he's been doing in Nigeria is that he's doing everything possible to grow the economy to become a $1 trillion economy in the next 3 years. This is his target. There's been so many reforms around the currency, reforms around the oil sector, where we've removed subsidies and we're allowing oil to be able to trade at the right market rate. Of course, the implication of that is that in the immediate, there is significant pain on the people. But we do understand that if we want to get to where we need to be as a nation, these reforms are extremely important. And we know that to build an economy that is truly $1 trillion, that digital technologies will have to have a significant say. Because at the minute, most of our critical sectors are operating at suboptimal. So when you look at the agriculture sector, it's not where it should be. The energy sector is not where it should be. Education is not where it should be. But we understand that to raise the level of productivity, we must adopt digital technologies significantly. And this is why, as a nation, we have decided we're going to invest significantly in deepening our digital backbone. We are investing in 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic network, which is led by the World Bank, which means we're laying 90,000 kilometers of fiber over the next 3 to 4 years. That's extremely important. We've also seen that there's still about 30 million people in our country without access to any form of telecommunication services at all. And we do have the most vibrant telecommunication sector. In Nigeria, is the most vibrant on the African continent. But yet, we have about 30 million people that are not connected at all. So the government is now investing in 7,000 towers in rural areas. In fact, next week, we're going to launch the prototype of the tower. And the hope is that over the next, again, 3 to 4 years, we can deploy about 7,000 of those towers. But we're reimagining how we're doing these towers, and I'll talk about them in a bit. In addition to that, many people may not know, because we're prioritizing our space sector, we're the only country in West Africa with its own satellites, and we're working hard to make sure that that satellite, communication satellite, can actually be used to beam internet to difficult-to-reach places. But at the same time, we've opened up to the private sector to also be able to do business in Nigeria within the satellite space. So many people may not know that Nigeria is perhaps one of the biggest countries in the world for Starlinks. So Starlink in Nigeria is almost the second largest ISP in the country. But of course, we've also licensed Kuiper. So Kuiper is also going to be launching in Nigeria as well. So space is also important for us. So we're using a combination of all of these to ensure we can deepen connectivity. But we understand that deepening connectivity is not enough. Governments must also leverage digital technologies to provide services to people, which is why we're also adopting a digital public infrastructure as ethos for how we use technology in government, moving away from the original thinking of technology in government that is about siloed solutions into building interoperability that will allow us to be able to use our digital identity, our interbank settlement system, but also a data exchange system to ensure that we can connect the whole of government. In doing all of this, I think the biggest challenge and the information that is useful for this audience is that we're very aware that while we're making this investment, there's going to be a lot of digital technologies coming into the market. And our biggest challenge is how do we ensure that we're thinking about sustainability in terms of how we power these technologies. And so far, I think Nigeria is not done really poorly. As a country, we have over 40,000 towers, and one of the largest tower cos in the country, which is IHS, has about 16,000 towers. Of that 16,000 towers, over 10,000 of them are actually powered by green energy. We also have ATC in Nigeria. ATC has about 8,000 towers. About 6,000 of those 8,000 towers have solar panels tied to them. But that's not the real story. The real story is that they're still backed up by diesel generator, which means it's not fully clean. And the reason for that is that most of the time what we've seen is that the solutions have been based on vendor solution applied to the reality of the telcos locally, as against innovation that takes into consideration the local reality of these towers, of the community, of the size of land where the towers are placed, of security as well in designing that solution. And this is where the government is stepping in. So we're working with ITU and ATU, which is Africa Telecommunications Union, to try and craft a program that is focused on putting together a fund that the government can back, but also bring the private capital into it as well, to see how we drive better usage of sustainable form of energy to power our digital infrastructure. And we're not looking at towers only. We're asking ourselves, as we lay these fibers, how do we make sure that the technologies, the hardware that will be plugged into them are also powered sustainably? As we're putting more devices into schools, into the hands of people, how do we ensure that we also have options for sustainability in the way we think about them? And this is why we're excited. We think we're already on a good path. This is not something that people talk about well enough. But what we need to do is work with partners who can truly localize solutions for the energy requirement for the digital infrastructure space in Nigeria. I think I'll stop there for now. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.